Breaking news. Russia has stated that they are ready to use cluster bombs, and Putin's upcoming trip to South Africa may end in his arrest. The United States has announced that it will allow European countries to use American-made F-16 fighter jets to train Ukrainian fighters. Meanwhile, Russia has threatened retaliation if Ukraine uses U.S.-supplied cluster bombs. Sergei Shoigu is the Russian Minister of Defense. Russia has cluster bombs for any situation, Sergei Shoigu emphasized. Their variety and efficiency far surpass those of their American counterparts. None of the major powers, Russia, Ukraine, or the United States, have signed a treaty prohibiting the use of cluster bombs. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk and former Swedish Foreign Minister Margot Wallström will join us later in the broadcast to discuss cluster munitions in greater depth. The International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin, but he still plans to travel to South Africa next month to attend the BRICS summit. South Africa, as a member of the ICC, would be required to take Putin into custody. As the summer's record-breaking temperatures continue to scorch large swaths of the United States, Asia, and Europe, stifling heat is gripping all three continents. Dangerous conditions are expected to persist this week in the South, the Southwest, and South Florida, where 100 million people live under extreme heat advisories. An ongoing heat wave in the state of Arizona is predicted to set a new record for the longest stretch of days with temperatures above 110 degrees in Phoenix. Outdoor workers, such as those in the construction industry, and the homeless are among the most vulnerable populations. "I've been here for 12 years, and I've never seen anything like this," said Kevin Hendershot. Extreme heat. After dozing off on some scorching pavement, I woke up with third-degree burns covering my entire left side. That certainly opens one's eyes. The Italian islands of Sicily and Sardinia may experience Europe's hottest day on record. This past weekend, authorities in 16 cities across Italy, including Rome and Florence, issued a extreme health risk alert. The heat wave in Italy drove many people to the country's many lakes and coastlines. "This is not the norm," said Federico Bratti. "For this time of year, I don't recall ever experiencing such sweltering temperatures." People who have been displaced to camps in northern Syria have compared the conditions there to being in an oven. The elderly and young are especially susceptible to the 108-degree heat, and they have few ways to cool off. The temperature in China recently reached 126 degrees Fahrenheit, breaking the previous record by 3 degrees. At least 40 people have died as a result of days of heavy rain and flooding in South Korea. In Cheongju, 12 people perished when a river levee collapsed, trapping 16 vehicles, including a bus, in a tunnel. Locals, devastated by the tragedy, criticized the government's response. "That it could have happened to me," said Kong Seong-pyo. "This is the worst feeling ever. In advance, authorities should have confined tunnel access. There wasn't enough of a reaction." Weather-related disasters are becoming commonplace as a result of the climate crisis, and South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, who also placed blame on authorities, has called for better plans to deal with them. As the monsoon continues to wreak havoc in India, at least 100 people have lost their lives as entire towns have been flooded and flooding has washed away vehicles, bridges, and roads. The amount of rain that has fallen on Delhi this monsoon season is more than 90% higher than average. New construction meant to accommodate tourists in the Himalayan region of Himachal Pradesh has actually exacerbated landslides and flooding in that area. A young girl whose old school was destroyed by floodwaters. The loss of the school building devastated Chandrakala, who had attended classes there in the past. Children in faraway places are also having trouble keeping up with their schoolwork. "I'm heartbroken that the kids have to deal with this tragedy. Along with our education, our memories have been wiped clean." Parts of the northeastern United States received heavy rainfall over the weekend. At least 5 people were killed in Bucks County, a Philadelphia suburb, when their cars were swept away by flash flooding. As of late Sunday, at least 1,400 Northeast flights had been called off. Chicago, Minneapolis, and Milwaukee all reported unhealthy levels of air pollution due to the thick smoke from hundreds of Canadian wildfires. The governor of New York has also issued warnings to residents of the entire state. More than 4,000 people have been evacuated from the island of La Palma in the Canary Islands as firefighters fight out-of-control wildfires. After the news, Rolling Stone's reporter and author of The Heat Will Kill You First: Life and Death on a Scorched Planet, Jeff Goodell will join us to discuss the ongoing global heatwave, extreme weather, and the climate crisis.